You guys, meet my twin. This is Alex. We are literally best friends. We both have alopecia, and today I'm gonna do her makeup and tell you guys a crazy story time. So, in 2021, Alex and I got arrested for being suspects of a murder. Now, in 2021, I was going back and forth from Maryland to LA, even though I'd already lived in LA for a couple of years. This is one of the times where I was living in Maryland and I flew back to LA and I rented a car. Now, this is like the first 2 hours of being in LA, and I was staying with Alex and I drove to her content house that she was living in at the time. And it just so happened that when I got there, down the street, there was police activity, there was caution tape. It had to have at least been 10 houses down, but very visible from our house. When I went inside, I met Alex's friend Seb, who had been a photographer for the house at the time. And him and Alex actually wanted Jamba Juice before we went out to dinner because we were really hungry. And so I said I would drive, and Alex and Seb called shotgun simultaneously, and so they sprinted to the car to see who gets shotgun first. So that's a significant part of the story because, of course, Alex got shotgun, so she sat in the front seat and Seb got into the back seat, and then, of course, I got in the driver's seat. And we start driving down, and to get out of their little neighborhood area, we actually had to pass the caution tape and kind of where the police were, and we didn't really know what was going on anyway, so we drove past them and we headed towards Jamba Juice. So I kid you not even 3 minutes into the drive, I look into my rearview mirror and out of nowhere, I see two cops with their sirens on coming right towards me. So I initially go to pull over because I think they're gonna go around me, but instead, they immediately stop right when I stop, and the cop gets out of his car and points his gun at me. All three of us in the car are so extremely confused because obviously none of us had done anything wrong. And of course, I threw my hands up into the air and I kind of surrender. I don't have any weapons, so I'm like, I don't have weapons. I kind of yell out the window. I'm like, what's going on? We didn't do anything. I didn't even know what it was for. I was just yelling, we didn't do anything. And so as I'm trying to stay calm and listen to them, the cop is yelling over, driver, put your hands in the air. And I try getting out of the car, and then they're like, get back in the car, because they haven't started their routine of whatever they're about to do yet. And so I get back in the car, and then they're like, okay, driver, with your hands up, get out of the car and keep your hands in the air. So I get up and I have to face backwards. They're giving me so many directions that I can't even understand, and I'm panicking because I've never been in this situation. And they're yelling on their speaker, and all I can hear above me is helicopters. And then, of course, the pedestrians start to wander around, and people are starting to record. I am now face down on the ground in the middle of an LA street with my head on the road, and then they do the same thing to Alex and the same thing to Seb. And the craziest part about this story is that it is all on video. They also said they spotted us because we were sprinting to the car and Seb looked like their suspect. So yeah, once they detained all three of us, they told us that they thought Seb was their suspect, and it's because he had bleach blonde tips, and that not a lot of people in LA have bleach blonde tips, apparently. Obviously, that's not true. And that he was a tall, Hispanic-looking male, and that was their description. And I feel like the scariest part of this whole thing was while we were on the ground, it didn't help that people were yelling, don't shoot, don't shoot, as if they were going to shoot us. So me laying on the ground hearing that when I literally can't look up because there's a gun pointing on my head, and hearing, don't shoot, don't shoot, I'm obviously going to panic. So long story short, obviously we were not their suspects, so they had to let us go. But if you want to see all the video footage, I put it on YouTube. Someone recorded it from a restaurant nearby.